PokeClass is sponsored by CollectorsCash.com, who are now stocking your brand new set, Dragons Exalted, at very competitive prices. Whether you want to kickstart your collection with a sealed box, or want those competitive singles for a tournament, Collectors Cash should be your first stop. Check out www.collectorscash.com after the show for all of your competitive Pokemon TCG needs.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 86 of PokeClass, where I'm back from my vacation and went headfirst into the new Pokemon season with a Battle Roads tournament the day after I got back. As many of you know, the new season has finally begun, with Battle Roads starting all over the world since last weekend. However, I was away for the first weekend, so I just about managed to get in a second weekend tournament in Sutton Coldfield here in the UK. Sutton Coldfield is pretty central in England, and a lot of great players turned up, including a lot of UK World attendees from this year. The tournament was going to be tough, but I had tested a lot and was ready to get stuck into this new format. So the tournament attracted around 25 players in the Masters division, which is an average size for UK Battle Roads. We then had 5 rounds of Swiss and a top 4 cut. And yes, you did hear right, there was a top cut. One of the big pieces of news from a while back was that Battle Roads this year would not have a top cut. However, this rule actually only applies in the US, so over here in the UK, we are still allowed to have top cuts, as there was one at this tournament. I'm guessing in the US, Battle Roads can get pretty hefty attendance numbers, but with around 25 to 30 being the norm for a Battle Roads over here, top cuts aren't too lengthy and weren't really an issue in the first place. Anyway, less of that and on to my first report of the new season. As for my deck choice, I decided to run Darkrai Hydreigon as I had the cards for it, and it has pretty good matchups against a lot of the current format, as I felt that even rough matchups were totally winnable with careful play and some optional techs. I won't give you my full list as I want to play with the list a little bit more before Battle Roads finished, but I will say that I ran an extremely consistent version of the deck with no special tricks, but a notable change was taking out my Shaymin EX for a Giratina EX just before the tournament began, which turned out to be a great switch. So on to round 1. Round 1 was against Johnny Hall, who has already started the season well with 2 undefeated runs with the deck he's playing today, Rayquaza EX Electric. This was a matchup that I hadn't really tested at all and didn't really have a game plan, so I just took it as it came with both of us getting okay starts. He has to Ultra Ball twice on the first turn, getting rid of 2 catchers, which was the hint to the game plan I needed to take this one, and I managed to get a turn 2 Hydreigon, but was slowed down by paralysis flips from Tynamo. Secret Rare Rayquaza starts to hit my uneviolated Darkrai for 90, giving him 2-shot setups, but after getting the KO on that, his Rayquaza EX comes up to finish the job. I play N and manage to hit the Dark Patch I need after attaching a Blend Energy to get the return KO with Hydreigon, and I take the rest of the game with Darkrai Snipes on Eels as he fails to draw his last Prism to power up his attackers. So sitting at 1-0 against a good player and feeling good after a matchup I hadn't really tested. Up next was Alex Holdway, who flips over a Terrakion EX and Tracheon from Noble Victories with me going first, and I start to instantly regret taking out Shaymin. However, I get an incredibly fast start with a turn 2 Hydreigon and a Night Spear on turn 2 with an Eviolated Darkrai to his active Terrakion EX. All he can do is swing for 80, and I manage to tool scrapper away all of his experience shares, so he's always a turn behind on attaching energy for Retaliate, and I take a comfortable win. Dodged a bullet there thanks to a consistent build and good draws, and I'm at 2-0. My next round is against Ben Stewart Armstead, another great player who has qualified for Worlds multiple times and always performs well at tournaments, so I was in for a tough game. Even more so because he's also playing Terrakion EX. This time we both get slow starts with me having no supporter for ages, and he starts with a Mewtwo EX and DCE to my Sableye. I go for the Confuse Ray as there's nothing in my discard pile to grab, and hit heads with him following up on missing a plus powered KO twice by hitting tails on Confusion. Guessing he ran 4 plus powers and now 2 were gone, I knew my chances were looking a bit better. With the lone Mewtwo still all he has, I'm forced to end us both into better hands, mine being the Hydreigon I needed to start taking advantage of both slow starts. From here, I get a 2-hit KO on the Terrakion EX in play thanks to Giratina EX's Shred Attack getting past Eviolite, and further Eviolites were tool scrappered away to make sure that I always got a 2-hit KO on his Pokemon. From here on, it continues to go downhill for him, and I manage to take the win, and I'm on to 3-0. So one more win would guarantee me top cut, and up next is Tamal Cameron with Darkrai Hammers, a deck I also had 0 testing against. This round I do get a Hydreigon into play, but my energy that I'm drawing while trying to top deck out of an awful hand keeps hitting the discard pile thanks to multiple Crushing Hammer heads, courtesy of Sableye. And there isn't really much else to say about this game, unfortunately. I managed to get a Darkrai up around mid-game, but any chance of a comeback is halted by Potion, turning my 2-hit KOs into 3-hit KOs, which is way too long to give me a chance of winning. So I'm on to 3-1, and I now need to win my last game to get into top 4. So my last round of Swiss is against Aiden Wardle, who I've played against multiple times before, and I know he's another great player, so it won't be easy. Today, he's piloting a Darkrai Mewtwo Tornadus deck, which I know I can beat if I get the correct setup, and the early game is a weird one for us both. By around turn 4, 4 or 5 ends have been played between us, which will make the late game very interesting, and I'm fishing for my Hydreigon after managing to get 3 Dinos onto the bench, as they will go down fast to his blow-through attack. This indeed does happen as he gets Sky Bridge into play, and I find my only Zwelos to be prized, meaning that Rare Candy was the only way to get Hydreigon out, and I was whiffing them really badly. I get a Juniper for 7 and still only have the Hydreigon in hand, stopping me from giving a response to his constant Tornadus KOs. By the time I only have 1 Dino left in play, I play a Cheren to try and hit the Rare Candy I need, and my next 3 cards are all Rare Candy. Crazy. But anyway, I managed to get my Hydreigon into play, and I have a full field of undamaged EXs to take full advantage of, and I start setting up some late game KOs with Darkrai while two-shotting his Tornadus thanks to Tool Scrapper on his Eviolites. From here, I have more than enough max potions to get through this game. I managed to KO an Eviolited Darkrai thanks again to Giratina's Shred to bring me down to 2 prizes with a win set up on the board. He does use his final N on me to take my winning catcher from my hand, but I have plenty of supporters left thanks to an early drought, as I draw Juniper off my 2 cards. This Juniper leads me into the catcher I need to bring up a damaged Mewtwo, shift all my energy to Hydreigon and Dragon Blast for the game. So I secure my top cut space by hitting second seed, and I've got another Armstead brother, Jack, to play against next, and we're in for a mirror match. Jack is also a multiple time Worlds competitor and won UK Nationals when in seniors, so yet another tough game was on the cards. Game 1 doesn't go too great for me. I do manage to get a Hydreigon out, but all I can do is draw and pass as I whiff supporters, as he also gets a fast Hydreigon out and sweeps me with Darkrai. A very disheartening game that lasts just 10 minutes, and on to game 2. This one went a lot better for me as I get the first Hydreigon up, but my key to this matchup was going to be both Giratina and Tool Scrapper, as he ran neither and Eviolite plays a huge part in Darkrai mirrors. Thanks to discarding early Eviolites with Tool Scrapper and then ignoring the rest with Shred, I was always able to get the 2-hit KO on his Darkrai's while he doesn't see a Hydreigon all game, and can't keep up with my constant max potioning. On to game 3, and we've got plenty of time left. This game starts slowly again for him as he's struggling to get a Hydreigon into play again, and I get one by about turn 3 or 4, hitting a second one in the same turn. Having 2 in play meant that even if one went down, I was still able to complete my strategy, as I KO all 3 of his Dinos in 2 turns, killing all chance of him getting a Hydreigon at all this game. Having no access to Hydreigon all game limited his options a lot and gave me a lot more board advantage. He also ran Bouffalon, which was a bit of a pain as it could complete KOs on any damaged EXs, thanks to a 10 damage snipe with Darkrai followed up by a Shred from Giratina. Ignoring its ability, got rid of all chance of him coming back into the game. A great series of games, but I managed to pull off the win and I move on to the finals, where I'd have to play against Tamao again to take first place. So this game was actually really enjoyable as the games were really close and very complex, and the difference in prizes and points were barely different. However, I was aware that this matchup wasn't a great one for me, so I needed to come up with a plan quickly to take this series. Game 1 lasts for almost 40 minutes, which is great for whoever wins the game, as it would be very unlikely that we'd be able to play a full set of 3 games. And this game was incredibly close the whole way, meaning that none of us wanted to scoop to save time. This time he continues the trend of getting enough Crushing Hammer flips to keep me at bay for a good 5 or 6 turns, but in the meantime I'm able to get Hydreigon into play and start my game plan for this round. I kept attaching energy every turn as one missed turn of good flips opened the game right up, but this time I saved my dark patches as this would be my way to get at least some damage onto the board. Thanks to a missed flip and my dark patch, I'm able to get Darkrai first to get some damage on the board, but his potions once again keep me at bay from getting any sustainable lead. From here on, the usual happens as we both use Max Potion and Potion to prevent each other from taking prizes, but he's the one that starts to run out of energy acceleration and potions first, so I can carefully save mine as I get a second Hydreigon into play as he snipes my first one. This second Hydreigon completely saves me, and a Darkrai with 60 damage on the bench is calling to be KO'd as long as I draw a catcher, which I managed to do as we hit the 35-minute mark and I win the first game. The second game was a very strange yet very tactical one as we both start with Sableye and begin junk hunting and setting up in our own ways. This actually takes a fair while, and I was fully aware that he needed to take at least 4 prizes for this game to count. When the first prize is taken by him at close to 50 minutes gone on the clock, I think I'm in for a chance. However, his potions yet again caused me trouble in me taking down his troublesome attackers, but my constant junk hunting and max potion combos are keeping him much more at bay than he is keeping me, as I go for a deny him of prizes tactic rather than trying to take my own. Eventually, all of his catchers have hit the discard pile by the time time is called, and he has no time left to fish for the catchers with Junk Hunt, otherwise he will miss placing enough damage on the board with Darkrai. With one card left in his deck and knowing he isn't going to draw a catcher to get around my fresh Giratina EX to take a prize, he ends that last turn of time without taking prizes, meaning I win the tournament. It's very hard to explain all of the intricate decisions that went into that final, and I wish that I had recorded it, but let me assure you that it was an amazing series to play and very close all the way. So there you have it, my first tournament of the new season, and I managed to win it, now netting me 15 championship points because of the new system and a shiny new Victory Cup card. I'm very pleased with how I played and with how well my deck ran, and I might take it for another spin at another Battle Road sometime soon if something else doesn't catch my eye. So thanks for watching this week's episode of PokeClass, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to my report. The tournament was great and I played some amazing players, and getting the win was awesome. I would really appreciate it if you could like this video, leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching guys, and I'll see you all next time.